I just muted myself accidentally. My bad. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to our second round draft coverage here at OCN for the NHL entry draft. We are about 5 seconds away from the draft getting started. So we got second round coverage here for you. We're going to kind of fill the air here. We're talking about more what went down last night, some of the trades that went down, and we got some draft coverage here for you as well. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cam. I am one of the co-hosts on Beers, Buds, and Blues, so you can catch us on there whenever we upload. You can also catch us on Twitter and on Facebook. So, to tee us up a little bit here for today, to start off, we have the Montreal Canadiens with that first pick here in the second round. Now, last night, a little bit surprising. I know it kind of caught people a little off guard. They did take Yuri Slafkovsky first overall. I know a lot of people were looking for Shane Wright to go first overall. Personally, I was as well. I was expecting him to go in that position, but I think that Slafkovsky is going to be a very, very good fit on the Canadiens' back end. I think right now, what Montreal really needs to do right now, and what they've needed to do for a while, that cup run was. Let's not beat around the bush. That cup run was a bit of a fluke. So I think right now what the Canadiens really need to do is kind of commit to that rebuild, and having that first overall pick this year in a draft that is very much, front end loaded. Those top 5 picks are the top 5 picks in this draft are without a doubt the best picks within this draft. But I would not be surprised if going forward in the future we do see a lot of sleeper picks from later on in the draft, like a lot of other drafts where, outside of those first top 5, top 10 players, there's not really that much hype. You see a lot in, 2018 drafts. You go kind of further back, maybe the 2011 drafts where, those first few guys really didn't, they weren't turning any heads, but you got guys in the later rounds, for example, thinking back. So we're doing second round coverage today, mainly. And you think back to one of the best second round picks ever. I know this might not be too much, too great for Leafs fans, but I think Patrice Bergeron is probably the best second round pick we've ever seen come out of the draft over to Boston. So right now we are still waiting for Montreal to make their first pick here in the second round of the draft. I've not been able to find any streams of it, so we're kind of relying on everything online at the moment. And if any of you are in Canada right now, half of our online infrastructure is down. So I am thankfully not with that half at the moment. So let's tee this up a little bit. Our first 5 picks here today in the second round, we got Montreal, San Jose, Seattle, Arizona, and Washington. The Leafs will be picking 6th here in the second round at 38th. They picked up that pick from Chicago. I believe they also traded away their later pick, or that might be a third round pick. I can't remember if they had that second or third looking through here. But we also have a lot of trades going on. Mainly, our big trade coming in from yesterday was Alex DeBrincat to the Senators. Now, even as a Sens fan, this one did catch me a little bit off guard. So I know I do the Leafs podcast, but I am originally from Ottawa, so the Sens have a close place in my heart forever, despite working this Leafs podcast. So it was Alex DeBrincat for the 7th overall pick last night, which ended up being Kevin Korchinski. He is a 6'2" defender from Seattle in the WHL. He's about 185 pounds. So, I mean, decent defender. Can't complain. But again, I don't feel too bad about giving that up. Now, for anyone who hasn't read up on this, originally that 7th overall pick was not supposed to go to Chicago. That 7th overall pick was originally supposed to go to Buffalo with Matt Murray to trade down to, I believe it was the 12th overall pick last night. Where did Buffalo pick? 16th overall pick. So originally Ottawa was planning on trading down as a cap dump on Matt Murray, who has 2 years left, $7 and $8 million per year, respectively, on those last 2 years on his deal. So originally the deal was going to be the 7th overall pick, Matt Murray, and the 16th coming back to Ottawa. Matt Murray actually said no, he didn't want to go to Buffalo, I guess. So that trade got nixed, and seeing what we got back for that 7th overall pick, I'm quite fine. Alex DeBrincat is going to be a great fit on that Sens lineup. Just fitting him in anywhere with, we've Ottawa's lost Colin White now, so there's a position in that center. It was always a little bit kind of crammed in there, so Colin White was never really going to fit in. But so we got, let's see, I think Tim Stutzel and Josh Norris are both going to be our centers going forward. So slotting DeBrincat somewhere in a line, I think I really like the idea of a line with DeBrincat, who's a right-hand shot, but he plays left wing. So you got DeBrincat, Tim Stutzel, and then maybe a Connor Brown in there as well. You know, you got the offense, you got kind of your two-way utility player, and then you got Connor Brown who's going to play those hard lines. All right, let's see if we got any picks. Again, I haven't been able to find any radio coverage. It does not look like Montreal's pick is in yet. Let's go through last night's first round picks here. So nothing too crazy. Obviously, the Leafs did trade down. So the Leafs last night, they traded Peter Mrazek in a cap dump move to the Blackhawks. I believe, to the Blackhawks. Oh, man. Sorry, I have been up since 5 a.m. I believe it was the Blackhawks. I have to go confirm that. But big cap dumping move, more to move down. They swapped some picks. Originally, they were supposed to have that 25th overall pick, but obviously they swapped that over to Chicago. So Chicago ends up taking Sam Rinzel. Again, big defenseman out of it's High Minnesota League. I have no idea what that abbreviation is. I've not seen that league before. It's High MN. So bigger defenseman, 6'4", but he's still got to kind of fill into his frame. He's 180 pounds. So definitely a faster defenseman, but I don't know if he really has the strength he needs to go there. So, it's an okay pickup for the Leafs. I think they did need to drop that Peter Mrazek contract. It gives a little more cap space, but at the same time, again, like I said before, this is more of a really, your first 5 to 10 picks in this draft are a lot better in quality, a lot more, kind of looking down the line at guys being picked later in the first round. You got a lot more projects. I'm really surprised, though. There was one pick that really did surprise me, or I guess one player that slid that really surprised me. And that was Brad Lambert, who slid 230th overall, going to Winnipeg, actually. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Brad Lambert, he's been playing out of Finland. Hello, Montreal and Pens fans for life. Welcome to the stream. I believe I still don't see any Habs pick in yet, so we're still waiting on that pick for you guys. But again, as I was saying, I think you guys had a great pick up there with Yuri Slafkovsky last night at first overall. I think he's a really, really good fit on that team. He's big. He's really sturdy. I think that's a good fit going forward for the Habs. Later on in the evening, you had a later pick as well, and it's Philip Massar. So he's a right winger out of Slovakia. Again, a bit of a smaller, skilled forward. So, kind of looking towards more of what Suzuki and kind of Cole Caulfield. Smaller guys, more skill. You already have these guys. Pens in Montreal. When does Montreal pick in this round? Let's go take a peek. Or not Montreal. So Montreal has that first pick, but I'm looking for that Pens pick. Where does Pittsburgh pick? Pittsburgh's kind of an interesting team right now. You still have a couple years left with Crosby at least. So I feel like they should try and maximize like the time they have left with Sidney Crosby. But at the same time, how long are you trying to hold on to Crosby and Malkin and build around that team? And when do you kind of accept that, you have to start looking towards the future and start building towards the future? And I think that's one thing with Montreal, with the Pierre Bergevin regime, where it always really felt like they didn't quite know when to kind of give it up. I mean, last year, the run to the Cup Finals was great. You guys do need another cup for Sid. I think a great way to send him off would be within these next couple of years, you get one last. But you have to, if you're going all in, I think you have to commit to going all in. And again, I think you have to look at all your assets. You have to take a good, deep look at that team and say, who do you want to trade? Who do you want to keep? I know Malkin, I believe he's up in free agency this year. Let me take a peek at that. Pull up the NHL free agency 2022. I believe Malkin's a free agent this year. So you got to he is. He's our top listed free agent. He's 30. He's almost 36. And last year, $9.5 million cap hit. So I don't think I'd bring back Malkin for more. It all depends on what he's asking for, right? If he wants another cap hit like that, I think I kind of tell him listen, we had some good years. He shoots, he scores. Sidney Crosby. Listen, Sidney Crosby is the one guy on that Pittsburgh team that unless he is asking for it, you 100% do not trade away. That is like, I mean, the last almost 20 years now, that has been the identity of the team. He is the Pittsburgh Penguins, without a doubt. So I think you got to figure out a way to kind of build that team around him. Ideally, you bring back Evgeny Malkin, maybe on a 2-year contract, $6.5 to $7.5 million. You basically want to pitch to him and say, listen, we still want to win, but we need a little more cap flexibility. And I think that's what the main issue with the Pens lately, since those back-to-back cups in 2016, 2017, is just that you keep trying to go back. You have teams good enough, but at the same time, you need one more guy in there. You need a third guy in there that kind of glues them together. And the Pens were really good at plugging new guys in every single year. Jake Gensel, Brian Rust. I'm blanking on other names here. But each year, each of those two back-to-back years, and kind of from about 2015 to 2018, the Pens were always kind of take a project player, similar to what Detroit used to be able to do. We'll get a little more into Detroit in a little bit. Similar to what Detroit used to be able to do, where they would have players, project picks, and all that stuff kind of down in their system. And then what they would kind of do is let them take their time, let them develop a little bit, and then they bring them in, and you'd have this solid core player who was contributing to the team and would just come out of nowhere, right? So I think that's the important thing to do with the Pens, is that's what they were doing. But now you look at Detroit and you look at where they kind of went at the end of that dynasty. They fizzled out. I think what the Pens don't want to do is they don't want to fizzle out with Sid on there. If you fizzle out after Sid's on there, it is what it is. But I think while you have Sidney Crosby on that, roster, you really need to maximize the time you have with them, and at least try and go for a couple more. I don't know if the Pens really have it in them, to be honest, on that one. I think the main issue with them is goaltending. I don't think Tristan Jarry is that guy. I don't think he's the guy you can plug in on. I don't think he's the guy you can plug in onto that team and be your starting goalie. I think he's a great 1B. I think he's a great backup. I don't think he can hold his own and carry the show all the way through. I mean, that being said, off topic, like wrestling's fine. I don't really follow it, but I do enjoy it. I never really got it. I never really got it. I did work it one time and saw it live, and then I was kind of like, okay, I get it now. Wrestling's a lot of fun. I kind of like I like the stories and that kind of stuff, and how it's over dramatic. It's fun, and that's what I really like about wrestling, is that they tell these funny stories that you wouldn't really see anywhere else. It's pretty good. So we're still waiting around, not seeing no picks yet have come in. Again, I am unable to. I'm still looking for a live feed of the second round broadcast. I'm not having too much luck at the moment. Originally, I was going to listen to it on a radio, but no luck. Big WWE fan. That's good stuff. WWE is a fun one. I'm still looking for this draft coverage. Normally they have it on radio, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it anywhere. We're searching. Again, I don't want to just keep being a talking head. I do want to have at least something to come into my ears so we can talk a little bit more about that. But I did mention that I would chat a bit about Detroit there. So earlier at work, I was chatting with one of my coworkers who's a Detroit fan, and he did bring up the good point about Detroit. And I think this is what a lot of good teams kind of need to be a little wary about. You look at Tampa, you look at Colorado, who's just won the Stanley Cup. You look at any of those teams kind of, who are good right now and who've had consistency, and they've been consistently good. Talking about Detroit, so the key to Detroit from the late 90s to about the early 2010s was that they always had really, really good drafting. Look up Fast Stream. Let's see. You mean completely legal? Actually, yeah. If there's a stream on YouTube, I'm not expecting there one to be. Draft 2022. Again, I wish that. Okay, we got. You know what? No, this is Steve Dangle from last night. That won't really do us any good. just want live coverage. I wish there was like more actual like TV coverage of this stuff. I know on the NHL site it has it listed, but there's no like online streams, no radio streams either. All I could use is a little bit of audio in my ear so I could hear it. And I'm searching right now. Let's see. Still nothing yet from the draft. Where's live? Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. Here, I found one. That's loud. All right. Here we go. Found one. All right. So we're 15 minutes in and we're fine. The Habs are finally officially on the clock. There we go. All right. Again, like I was saying yesterday, really surprised to see Brad Lambert fall to number 30. Now, the reason I'm surprised about that, if you go back even a few months ago, he was still ranked within the top 10. I haven't been able to really keep up with, where he's been over the last kind of couple months. We'll pull up our NHL here. All right, here. Pick is coming up. Bonjour. All right, let's see who they go with at number 33. We got the Habs coming up for this pick. Did they just announce it? I don't think I heard it. Owen Beck. Let's see. Oh, Owen Beck, his favorite team is the Leafs, and he just got drafted by just got drafted. Oh yeah, we're not gonna be showing the stream. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys the stream on here just because of copyright issues. Right? I don't think we wouldn't have rights holders to broadcast in the draft, unfortunately. But I will walk you through here. So yeah, Owen Beck, apparently a Leafs fan just drafted to the Habs. So best of luck to him on that one. That's probably a bit weird. Oh, wow. This is way behind. All right. So we already have 4 picks in here. I just got to refresh here on the website. So Owen Beck going to the Montreal Canadiens here at number 30. Oh, wait. No, I'm just behind. Where am I? No. Owen Beck to the Habs. That has already happened. Cameron Lund to the San Jose Sharks. Yager Furcus to that's a sweet name. To the San Jose Sharks, to Seattle, and then Artem Duda to the Arizona Coyotes. Oh yeah, I mean, if other people want to kind of risk, if other people want to risk streaming it directly on their broadcasts, that's fine. But again, we will not be taking that risk. Let's see. All right, here's Washington's pick, Ryan Chesley. Again, I need a list of all our. I saw a list somewhere in here. I need to pull up the draft skaters here. Boom. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just can't rebroadcast, especially so big. I can kind of. I know this is really boring, but just through work, I have a bit of an idea of what's it called? What like rights and all that stuff, or with all that stuff. So basically, right now, NHL Network kind of has exclusive rights to stream rounds 2 to 7, and anyone else who doesn't, if anyone's familiar with DMCA, they immediately get taken down because of DMCA claims. So Washington has taken Ryan Chesley here in the second round pick, or with their second round pick at 37th overall. See another Toronto pick? Fraser Minten. There we go. Here's our first Leafs pick. Fraser Minten. Let's try and find him on here. Fraser Minten. Apologies. So we got Fraser Minten. He's a... All right. Okay. Listen. So the Leafs have just selected another center. Left-handed center. What are his stats last year? Fraser Minten. So last year with Kamloops, 55 points and 67. Okay, I don't know if I'm terribly over the moon. Thanks for stopping by, Montreal and Pens fans for life. I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm terribly over the moon about this pick for the Leafs. Fraser Minten, another center on the Leafs. I mean, I understand finding that, like, that forward depth and that prospect depth and all that stuff. But again, obviously 1-2 is Matthews Tavares. Let me pull up a Leafs roster. It's been a second. Spezza isn't retired. Toronto Maple Leafs roster. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, Leafs need defensive help. Leafs don't. The last thing the Leafs need right now. No offense to Fraser Minton. Welcome to the team. My team is the Sens. I live in Toronto. I do podcasts for the Leafs, but my team is the Sens. We're up in a couple picks, actually. I think. Where are we? So we got. Okay, that's right. Sens are second last, so we're doing full second round coverage, and then we're going to be cutting it off because once you so basically, the whole draft is a bit of a crapshoot. But especially once you get into those later rounds, it really, really comes down to how good your scouting department is and luck. So, we're gonna cut the draft coverage to the second round here. Ooh, the Sharks. Listen, the Sharks have done the Sens a lot of good. Thank you for Josh Norris. Thank you for Tim Stutzel. Who else did you guys give us? No, that Sharks trade was great. Ooh, we got our first goaltender of the draft going to Buffalo here, Topias Lainanen. Ooh, oh wow, 6'5", 233 pounds. Let's see. Okay, sorry. Back to the Leafs for a second. We'll talk about Tobias here in a second. So the Leafs right now. Where's our center depth? No. I want to know who's center. So our centers right now in the Leafs, we got, okay. Oh, wow, they qualify Nylander as a set. All right. So it's Matthews. Where's Tavares? Matthews, Tavares, Kerfoot, Spezza. I'm counting right now, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 10 guys listed at the center position on the Leafs. Again, I'm really... Kyle Dubas, I guess, added again. I don't think the Leafs have a set direction at this point. Yeah, I have dreams, you have nightmares on that trade. I'm not sure what the Leafs plan going forward here is, because again, every single year, and we've talked about this on Beers, Butts, and Blues, every single year, the issue that the Leafs have had is not offense, and it's always defense. It's always defense. Oh yeah, you guys got absolutely fleeced. But in fairness, on that Sharks trade, I'll give it to you. The Sen. Well, no, it was 2018. That was when the Sens were collapsing and all that stuff. But at the same time, I mean, the Sharks are making a trade for Erik Karlsson. It did not look like. I mean, as a Sens fan, I remember when that trade happened, and I was like, well, we got a top 9 center off him. That's not awful. And I figured we were going to get 25th to 30th pick. So the fact that we got Josh Norris, who is not a top 9 center, he's very much at least a top 6. He's looking at least like an all-star. And then you got Tim Stutzel out of it, which again, the sky is kind of the limit with him. Both of those guys, I'm so excited. I mean, Josh Norris, best friends with Brady Tkachuk, just a great fit on that team. Watching the two of them play and watch Josh Norris find his spots, I think. So I went to a couple Sens games within this last year. One of them was against the new team for Shane Wright. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. The Seattle Kraken. And the game was fun, a little stressful because we went into overtime. Since we're up 3-0 and then blew a 3-0 lead, it was 3-3 in overtime. And then Josh Norris from Brady Tkachuk, beautiful shot in the slot, right going in. And just the chemistry between those two guys, watching it on the ice, watching it off the ice, is just great to see. So I have a lot of faith, and I have a lot of thanks for San Jose for giving us this. But again, back to the Leafs, and we'll talk about the Leafs here for a couple seconds. Oh man, just they don't need more forward depth. The Leafs specifically, they need to look at getting bigger defensemen. They need to at least if you're taking a forward, big physical guy. That's what the Leafs are missing out on right now. And again, I've talked about it here before. Mitch Marner being one of the main guys on here, he's just way too small. He is not big enough for playoff hockey. He's not built for playoff hockey. The Leafs need to look at bringing guys in that are built for playoff hockey. Fraser Minton, looking at him right now, 6'1", 185 pounds. He can probably play within the next couple of years. He's big enough. He's got the NHL size, but I mean, you know, you're only putting up 57 points in the WHL. I know it's the tougher of the three leagues, but again, are you able to translate that into the professional game? So I don't know enough about Minton to really give any projections or give any solid projections on him, but I feel like this is the Leafs squandering an opportunity to take a solid defenseman here in the second round. I mean, you look at guys like I believe Jake Muzzin actually was a second round pick. Let's fact check myself here live on air. Jake Muzzin. Sorry, he's a fifth round pick. My apologies. Who was a second round pick? NHL second round picks active. Curious. I know okay, so wow. Really? Kucherov is a second round pick. No way. When was he picked? I did not realize. I thought Kucherov was much later on in the draft. Second round, 58th overall. That's a pretty good second round pick. But again, look at defensemen. Roman Josi is the first one popping up. Obviously, not every defenseman you pick in the second round is going to be Roman Josi. But again, I think you're missing out on solid picks. Roman Josi, PK Subban, that's who I was thinking about. PK Subban is always the one that sticks in my mind as a second round pick. And that's mostly because I remember them being I always remember being as a kid, it's he's a second round pick. And he made the draft before I had any kind of clue that, it's not that rare for a second round pick to make the draft. But again, Roman Josi, PK Subban, Duncan Keith, Alex Goligoski, Justin Falk, Samuel Girard. Again, I can keep going on and on, but there are solid options defenseman wise coming out of the second round pick over multiple years. You can take multiple drafts. I don't think this is the one to try and take a center again. I don't know. It's just a little disappointing, but the Sens fan in me enjoys it because I think that just means another year where they're out in the first round again. All right. So I've missed a couple picks here. Let's pick up where we left off. So Fraser Minton, the Blackhawks, with the pick that they picked up from the Sens in the DeBrincat trade, have picked up Paul Ludwinski. He is a center from Kingston, the OHL, 5'11", 184, pretty solid frame, solid NHL frame. I'm starting to sound like Pierre Maguire here. At 40th, we got Dylan James going to the Detroit Red Wings, coming out of Sioux City in the USHL, 6 foot, 177 pounds. Topias Laininen from going to Buffalo. He's that goalie I wanted to look up here. Let's pull up European goalies. So he's the number one European goalie on Central Scouting's list last year with JYP, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Last year with his Finnish junior team, he had a goals against average of 228 and 960. That's really good. 21 games played. That's really good. Again, Finnish junior league. So, okay. We won't look at his senior team numbers. 5 goals against. And I just heard a Kyrou get picked. Any relation to Jordan Kyrou? Christian Kyrou. So, yeah. Brother of Jordan Kyrou just went to the Dallas Stars, 5'10", 172 pounds. He's got a couple of years before he comes in. But again, everyone who was following this last year, Jordan Kyrou, great story, breakout year for him. So we'll see how he does. Fingers crossed. Again, always rooting for players to do well. But you can't go off of just pedigree alone, right? That's not going to get you anywhere. So. Yeah, that Laininen pick, that looks pretty good. I think that's a pretty good pickup for Buffalo, honestly. Right now, you look at their goaltending depth, it's kind of non-existent. You got your starter with Craig Anderson. I don't really think they have any goaltending prospects in the pipeline. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, no, that Laininen pick looks pretty good. I think big goalies, you generally have a lot of success in the NHL. So we'll see. We'll see how he does. Ooh, was that a Hughes I just heard picked? Is this another Hughes? Oh, it's the other Jack Hughes. I'm pretty sure he's related, isn't he? So that was Jack Hughes to the Kings. Again, once you get into the 2nd to 7th rounds, things start to really pick up a little bit here. So again, they're doing 6 rounds in the span that they do the first round here. All right, so picking up where we left off there with Topias Leppinen. Noah Warren to the Ducks, big Canadian defenseman. He's out of the WHL. Where's my scroll wheel? Ugh. Come on. There we go. Ugh. All right. Lining into the Sabres, Warren, big ol'. See, again, I think this. Actually, I think we talked a little bit about Noah Warren here. So he went to the Ducks here, 42nd overall. I think that's a. Oh, I like that pick for the Ducks. I think that's a good pickup, at least. You know, it's always good to have a big puck-moving defenseman, 6'5", 224 pounds. Younger guys. So, again, you got a lot of room to kind of grow, get stronger there. And when you're already that big, I think that's pretty... He'll play in the NHL at least a couple games. Again, I think that would have been a better fit on the Leafs. I think the Leafs just need that big physical guy to plug in back there. So, we'll see. Julian Lutz to Arizona. German who played from München. Okay, we're not going to go through all these. We'll kind of touch on this, that, and the other thing here. Who else we got? So we got Jack Hughes going to Los Angeles Kings. Let's see, North American skaters. Hughes. Jack Hughes, Northeastern. All right, let's look a little bit more into Jack Hughes. So last year at Northeastern, 16 points, 39 games. Not awful, not great. Again, playing... So the thing with guys coming out of the USHL and playing in the... trade. Tony DeAngelo and pick 220. Come on, Bill Daly, hurry up. The Flyers. Okay, so Philly's 2nd round pick 2024 and 2 other picks for Tony DeAngelo from the Canes. Interesting pickup. I'm not the biggest Tony DeAngelo fan, but we won't really go into that one. I mean, probably good for the Hurricanes, but again... Oh, yeah, actually, the broadcast just did bring up a good point. Torts in Philadelphia, maybe that will work out well. So here are the details here. The Flyers are picking up Tony DeAngelo, who just agreed to a 2-year contract extension, a 2022 7th-round pick from the Hurricanes, and Carolina gets a 2024 2nd-round pick, a 2023 3rd-round pick, and a 2022 4th-round pick from the Flyers. Pretty good pickup there for the Hurricanes, I would say. I think that's a pretty good haul back from DeAngelo. I don't think he really fits in on that roster too much anymore. And again, they have championship aspirations. So any picks you can kind of get in there and keep the window open as long as possible is a good pick. So, and there's another defenseman we talked about on the podcast going to the Ducks, Tristan Luneau. If I remember correctly, he was a right shot defenseman. I think he will be a pretty solid 2-way defender in the NHL. Again, I'm not a scout. I'm not going to try and project him out, but, with the same frame and all that stuff, he's built a little similar to PK Subban. He's like, bigger guy and all that stuff. Again, good pick for the Ducks. Looks like the Ducks are trying to go double down and try and find that defensive depth of their team. Again, they're another team that's kind of, searching. They're not, they're still in a rebuilding mode, I guess. And you got Zegras in there who's good. He's a good pickup, but again, that team is still very much in a limbo. So I think we're probably a couple years out before we see the Ducks competing again. As much as my buddy John, who is a Ducks fan, would be disappointed to hear that. All right, Elias. Give me a moment. This one's we're gonna sound this one out together. So Winnipeg from the Swedish junior team Skellefteå Junior. Have chosen Elias Salomonson. I think it's Salmonson. Salomonson. 35 games with Scale Fata Jr. this past season, 11 goals, 11 assists. More of a two-way offensive-minded defenseman. So, a pretty good pickup for the Jets. Again, the Jets are another team where it's just like, where is this team going? You have a lot of really good forwards on that team. You used to have pretty good defensive depth, but it really has felt like these last few years they've been kind of puttering along. Since that conference final run in 2018, it really hasn't felt like they've found that traction that they need. So we'll see where they go. Again, I really think they should commit to a rebuild. They should trade off all their big assets because I think the Jets have a lot of potential like 6 years from now. I think if the Jets take what they have right now, they deal them off, they try and get some more assets in, and they kind of build around a new team. I really don't like making this comparison. I don't like making the comparison between the NHL and the NBA just because the sport, like basketball and hockey, are just two completely different sports. It's so hard to compare them, but sometimes there are comparables. So what I think that the Jets maybe should do here is kind of take the similar approach to what the Oklahoma City Thunder have done. I think is what a lot of rebuilding teams should just do. Once you realize that your window's closed and you're not going to be able to do it, I think what you really got to do is you got to take your best assets and you have to trade them off for as best as you can get back and just try and stack up your chances in the draft. Not everything is going to be a hit, but at the same time, you can pick up a lot of good depth pieces. And as long as you can figure out how to turn those players you have now into maybe higher picks, better picks, and quality picks, you can have a very, very good team down the line in about 5 to 10 years. So I think that's what Winnipeg should really focus on right now, is focus on the future rather than the present. Because I think the present, their window is shut. It doesn't sound like Connor Hellebuck is terribly excited to be in Winnipeg anymore. I think maybe start looking at what you can get back for him. Again, like I recommended, maybe Mitch Marner. Just saying. Maybe look back at what you can get for him. You got Pierre-Luc Dubois. Look what you can trade off for him. Just kind of go through and see what you can get and really evaluate the team. Pick out the guys you want to keep around. Keep younger guys. If someone's like 25 or younger, there's no need to trade them off. Try and keep them in there because you're going to need those veteran guys once you're going forward. So I guess I've been talking way too much about the Jets, so that's my 2 cents. So where are we right now? So we are but 4 picks through. So Minnesota, Chicago, Seattle, and Calgary have all picked in the meantime. Rieger Lawrence going to the Minnesota Wild, a 6'2" left winger out of the AJHL. Notably AJHL is where Cale Makar spent his pre-NHL days. So he's probably not a Cale Makar, but again, the AJHL slowly but surely gaining some legitimacy in the NHL draft. We got Ryan Green going to the Chicago Blackhawks at pick number 57. He is a 6'1" center out of the USHL playing for Green Bay last year. We got Nicholas Koko Koko. He's a Finnish goaltender going to the Seattle Kraken, 6 foot, 384 pounds, bit of a smaller goaltender, but that could also make him a little more mobile. You need a lot of mobility in that crease. So 6'3", 184, a little bit of room to grow. I think that's a pretty good pickup for the Kraken. Again, I think with the Kraken, actually, let's talk a little bit about the Kraken because I've really liked how their draft has kind of played out. I think them getting Shane Wright at 4, maybe too early to say right now, but that could be just an incredible steal. I'm not sure what made the Habs, the Devils, and the Coyotes pass over Wright to 4. It kind of reminds me of Philip Zadina a couple of years ago where he dropped to Detroit at 5. And where is Philip Zadina now? Again, that could come back to bite me in a couple of years, but who knows? But again, with Shane Wright, I really do think there was a lot of hype around him going number 1 for most of the year. After the World Juniors, Yaroslav Slavkovsky kind of took over because he had an outstanding World Juniors. He's playing in men's leagues. He's just, I still think Slavkovsky is a great first overall pick. Shane Wright going to the Kraken is great. I was talking about this with my coworker earlier today. It's good for him and it's good for the Kraken. For him, he's not going to be in that pressure cooker, the Montreal Canadiens kind of system there, where anytime you're in there, and your first overall pick, all eyes are on you. All eyes are going to be on your Slavkovsky. We'll see if he he'd fill those shoes. But with Shane Wright, he steps into a organization in Seattle that's 2 years old. So the real, the pressure of, David Goyette at 61 to Seattle. Interesting. So Shane Wright gets to go in and he gets to be the face of this team. So as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, I did see a Seattle Kraken versus Sens game earlier this year. And just watching the Kraken, I think the one thing I just noticed is that their name guy was Adam Larson in 2022. So what the Kraken really need is a face. They need that guy to sell jerseys, to be the face of the franchise, and kind of be that guy. I really like Shane Wright in that position. He's not huge at 6. He's not huge at 6 foot. I say I'm 6'3", so that doesn't feel like tall for me. I know for a lot of people that is probably pretty tall, but 6 foot, 199 pounds. If you've seen any pictures of him, he has an NHL frame. He is NHL ready to go. We are absolutely going to see him play next year. So I think it's a really good pick. He doesn't have that pressure. Seattle gets their guy to kind of, market and say, here's our superstar. Here's our star of the future. Come watch him. Come watch him play well. So I think that's a really good pickup for everyone involved. So Montreal here with their second pick of the second round, I believe, or is this their third? It's their second. Lane Hutson from the NTDP. Ooh. So NTDP, for anyone who doesn't know, is where Jake Sanderson has come out of. They've had a lot of really good prospects coming out of there lately. Oh, excuse me. A lot of great prospects coming out there lately. So we'll see where Hudson kind of slots in with there. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I know that Alex Turcotte, Jake Sanderson. I saw a graphic about this earlier. I can't for the life of me remember what it is. All right, Ottawa's up next. Let's see what we got. So we got Rangers are picking from Nitra. They got Adam Sikora. I wonder if there's any relation to Peter Sikora. Let's see. Peter Sikora. How do I spell Peter Sikora? Peter Sikora. Playing career. Come on. No, I want to know if Peter Sikora has a kid and if this is his kid. Let's see. No, can't. Nothing on his Wikipedia page. All right. Let's see. Come on. Show me the Sens pick. Philip Nordberg is our first. Ooh, okay. Philip Nordberg goes to the Ottawa Senators from that Tampa Bay pick. He's a 6'4", 207 defenseman. Interesting. What? Okay, let's look a little more into him because I am personally interested in this one. Okay, so let's pull up our draft stuff here. Where is European skaters? Nordberg. Not even on our European skaters list. Is he a North American skater? Where is he? No, he's Sweden. Why wouldn't he shake? Yeah, he's Swedish. Weird. Very odd. All right. Well, we'll go off what the NHL Network has on here. In 42 games, 6 goals, 21 assists. He's a mobile defenseman who likes to play a physical game. I like on the Sens left-hand shot. Okay. I'm okay with that. All right. Next up, we're waiting on this New York Islanders pick, and then I am going to wrap things up. Yeah, Lane Hutson. I think that's a pretty good pickup for the. I think that's an interesting pickup for. I think that's an interesting pickup for Montreal. Again, it's like an undersized defenseman. So undersized, kind of like, but at the same time, this is a team that has kind of been focusing very, very heavy in their drafting on forwards and all that stuff. So I think getting potentially a skilled defenseman to play back there with, whatever you're going to build your team around, I think that's a really interesting pick. All right, Cale Odelius to the New York Islanders, 6 foot, 188 pounds. He shoots left and he's a defender. So that'll kind of wrap up things here on our broadcast. Let's do a little bit of postmortem here again. Again, the Leafs. Every time I see the Leafs do something, every time I see the Leafs do something, it always feels like I'm just going like again and again. It's like that focus. It just feels like the Leafs think that they can stay the course and they can keep doing what they're doing, and that's very much not. It's not worked. It hasn't worked for 6 years now, and it's not going to. It's going to keep not working. I just said that, and they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year, or something ridiculous like that. Someone's going to pull up this clip and say, "Hey, you know, next time they're like lifting the cup or something." But yeah, no, I really think that they need to start focusing on getting defensemen back there. Your offense is fine. Kyle Dubas, you don't need more forwards. Again, some stand-up picks here. I really like that Topias Lainen pick for the Buffalo Sabres. I think that's a great pickup for them. They need some goaltending in there. They need some goalie prospects. Again, big goalie. Kind of reminds me of Robin Leonard. So we'll see how that pans out for them. What else do we got in here? I think, again, I talked about Brad Lambert there. I think that one was really surprising that he went that low. Who else do we got in here that kind of stands out? Christian Kyrou going to the Dallas Stars, related to Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues. I think that should be an interesting pickup. I'm more interested to see if he can fill the shoes of what his brother's been able to do in St. Louis, but as long as he's a functional NHL defender, I think Dallas will be quite fine with that. We got the other Jack Hughes going to Los Angeles Kings. So they got their Jack Hughes finally, so we'll see how that goes. It reminds me of Taylor versus Tyler back when Taylor Hall was going first overall, and then Edmonton picked up Tyler Pitlick with their 31st overall because they couldn't get Tyler Seguin. Who else do we have in here that was interesting? There was another goalie that went in here that I was like, okay. Yes, Nicholas Koko. I don't know. It's Kokko. So I think it's Koko going to the Kraken here. I'm actually curious about this one. Let's pull up the European goalies. And is he even? There he is, Nicholas Koko. So last year, Karpat Jr. in the Finnish Junior League. 29 games played, 206 goals against average, 913 save percentage. Pretty good numbers again. Junior leagues, so you got to take him with a grain of salt. He played one game for Karpat in the Finnish Elite League, and he had a shutout. So, again, I think there's a lot of hope. I have really liked the direction that Seattle has taken here. You have a great. Honestly, I'm gonna say I think you got a home run there at 4 with Shane Wright. I think that's such a great pickup for them. Do they have anyone else in that second round? They did have someone in that second round there. Yager Furcus. He's a Canadian, believe it or not. Oh my goodness. Played for Moose Jaw in the WHL, 5'10", but 151 pounds. So he's got a lot of work to do to get a lot stronger to get to that NHL level. So we'll see if he actually pans out. That's a little bit more when I'm talking about these project players and project guys for teams to kind of take a risk on and see where they go. A guy like Yager Furcus would be fitting into this exactly. He has the size, he has speed, obviously, but he's just too small. He needs to work on a little bit. So I think that's where the importance of, these project players are. So again, I really like what Seattle's done with their draft here. 49th overall. They also took Jani Nyman, who is a 6'4" right winger from Finland. So you're adding a little bit of size there. I think Seattle's just kind of filling the gaps and just seeing what works. So I'm pretty excited for that. All right. So we'll wrap things up. Again, I think the Leafs blew it again. But I'm still happy with how the Sens did. Again, that DeBrincat trade, I am very, very happy about. And I like this Philip Norberg pickup. I think it's a pretty solid pickup. I have no expectations for him whatsoever. I would be happy. He was like a top 6 defender playing, clean up in the back. But with that being said, I think you guys, we've all heard me talk a little bit too much over the last 50 minutes. So I'll just give a shout out to the OCSN crew. Thanks for letting me take over the show here today. You guys all rock. If you want to catch me anywhere, it's Beers, Buds, and Blues podcast. But don't forget to check out our other ones, such as Dropping the Mics, Flyers Alley, and the Blue Line pre-show. All right, I am going to head off, and I'm probably going to watch the rest of the draft here for the day, but kind of hang out. So I hope you all enjoyed stopping by. Thank you very much for all your time, and I am off. Have a good one, everybody.